sound off on this.
Yep, I'm down.
Oh, I know.
It's just sort of weird.
It's weird.
All cylinders are firing.
Wonderful. We're out to YouTube. We're out to we're out to everybody now. We're out to everybody. Very good.
Okay, I even
Very
posted
good.
it twice.
Did you? Good, Gary. Twice as many people.
Twice
watch
as many
now.
people.
Get a little drink of water.
So when it's just stuck on that one page, where does it come in live?
Oh, did you share that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not
Okay.
what you want to do. Are you on
Okay.
Applebox Network right now?
Go to the Applebox.
Oh, you go to the Applebox Network.
Okay.
Yeah, you just shared the card for the show. Okay. So you got to share this again.
There we go, live.
Okay, wait. Come down here. Come down here.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way to the feed. There
Oh,
you go.
there's the feed.
Now you share from here. Yeah.
There we
Share,
go to save
yeah.
the day. Ah, got it. Beautiful. Got it.
Yeah. So you shared to you got any other pages you share that to? Or just share to your page?
Share to my page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. We're ready.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So take the hint. Spread the show around.
the
If you're
show.
out there, spread it around. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Hey, yeah, and I'm going to tell everybody too. We're giving a book away. We're giving 2 books away, by the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to do one that if you tell us the way that you're evolving in business, that's one. So you just have to give us like, here's what I'm doing to change. This is what I'm doing to keep up with the times.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The other one is if you hear us say something that hits home to you, right?
Right.
Then you put a hashtag and you say nugget, and you just give us a quick sentence about what that thing was that you heard. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Buy 2 lights, or you know what I mean? Make more phone calls or anything like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can do that. So one will go to the best way that you're evolving,
Sure.
and then one book will go to the person whom Tony will pick out.
Ah.
Tony will pick that person out, and then that one will go to, the best person that says, nugget, or
Sure,
and then
nugget.
best way to evolve. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
1 minute. 1 minute. We're down to 1 minute.
1 minute.
Gary, and you're
I'm
on.
just a little nervous, but I'm okay now. I'm back.
I'll tell you, my problem is I woke up with a lot of energy. Didn't sleep all that well last night, but now I'm down. You know, that's
I know.
Like 2
Whoop,
o'clock.
whoop.
You
You still doing coffee?
I did a cup of Starbucks before you got here. Yeah,
okay.
and then I had to throw a little something down because I was afraid I was getting, and I may be spacey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that one little post you did with the big giant cup of coffee, can't get enough. That
oh,
was
okay,
great.
good.
I
You
love
like that? You like
was
that?
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Very, very nice.
We're gonna, You know what? I did something. I'll show you later on after the show. I'll show you something that I got off of Snapchat. That was pretty funny. They're doing some. I never could figure out Snapchat, but they're doing funny stuff over there.
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think we're underway.
One.
Hey, 2 o'clock, got to be Burnie's Applebox.
Is it
Mr.
that time
Gary
again?
Heimann.
Woohoo!
How you doing, brother?
Yes. Yes.
All right, all
Back
right.
in the
Mr.
saddle.
Gary, Mr. Gary is here with me, my cohort, and we are talking, Gary, today about a little bit of myriad of subjects,
Sure.
but the main subject is evolution. Evolve or die.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying today. Evolve or die. And just let me tell you sort of the genesis of this. I met a gentleman from Mexico, from the Mexican production community, and he was up here. I was talking to him with Nick. I think we were doing a little business with him, and the gentleman turned out to be 1 year older than me.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I know, and still in the business. You know what I mean?
whoa.
Amazing, yeah. And I so rarely get to actually talk to anybody that's my age that's actively in this business, who I don't know, like
Right.
yourself.
Sure.
And you're a younger guy than I am.
Barely.
Barely, yes, I will say that. But, you know, it was so interesting to talk to the guy, and really we sort of went through a journey, you know what I mean? He was born the year before I was, obviously, but we talked about the 50s, the 60s,
Sure.
and not in the context of like, oh, this happened then, that happened now,
Sure.
but in the context of change, you know what I mean? And the slowness, which no one even thought about. You know, I mean, you thought things changed fast, or
Right.
but things didn't change for
No,
5,
no.
10, 20
Yes.
years. You know, there was only very small little bits
Little
of
leaps
change.
and bounds, yes.
And really, truly, that kept up right through, I would say, the 90s, where the 90s just started, you noticed a little more. Things came online.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you noticed more change. The computers were being adopted then, you know, more and more. So there were new things to learn
Sure.
at that point. And, you know, the 2000s, once again, those types of things picked up speed.
Sure.
The computers now, and then you had the smartphones, and we had the apps. And we have both concluded that since 2010, right, and we're here at 2020,
Sure.
it has been meteoric change.
Yes.
I mean, everything coming online. I mean, a lot of social media has matured. You know, certainly online retail
Sure.
is driving out physical retail
Absolutely.
now. You know,
Absolutely.
turning it upside down. You know, and we both agreed that you have to evolve or die.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were talking about the people that we knew too that had not evolved. The people, and they're just simply left behind.
Yeah.
It's like you fell off the train or something.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not going to run and catch up.
No.
You know,
No. That's true. They've exited the production freeway.
they're off. They're off the bus.
They're off the bus.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And I just think that this is so important to talk about. You know, now you and I, Gary, we're old guys. I mean, you know, there is only look, I'm just going to be, you know, straight out. There's only a certain shelf life we've got, period.
Well, I don't call
You
us
know,
old. I think mature.
Yeah.
Would be a better word for
That's
it.
because you can't handle the truth.
I can't
Gary.
handle the truth. Nope, nope. I threw out that word old, and I replaced it with mature.
Well, you know what? And you are right. You are right to that extent. Here's where old is.
Yeah.
This is where old is. You know what I mean? Now, I really am excited about the future. I really am. I'm probably abnormally excited. Maybe I shouldn't even be that excited, you know, but I look out and I feel like in a certain way I live to see the future.
Right.
You
Sure.
know, you know. So, but when I see all of the things that are happening now in filmmaking alone, we are just turning such a huge corner at this point. You know, first, you know, there was a distribution of film, and
Right.
film is a passé word, by
Sure.
the way. You know, there's film, of course, but film isn't the medium that we send out now.
No,
It's digitized media.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we have gone to the point. I posted something this morning, and we'll watch a little video clip of it from YouTube. But ILM, you know, Industrial Light and Magic up north, did a thing on the Mandalorian and the production of the Mandalorian and how they used this big, 180 screen that surrounds you. You know what I mean? And the actors are in it and they're reacting to it. All the ability of how quickly they can adapt and do things and see what works physically and change a quick background to make the story even better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things that would have just not had would not have even been able to talk to each other at that
Sure.
time. They can do on the fly now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, but I was, the keeping involved.
Right.
You know, we all know as we get older, our brain gets
Well,
harder, and nothing. It's a sponge.
yeah.
So to evolve, you got to keep that sponge wet.
Oh,
and
Gary.
that's information gathering.
Oh.
You got to be open to keep looking at the information.
Listen to this man right now.
Yeah,
Listen to
you
this
have
man
to.
right now,
Have to.
because that is the whole element.
If you think you know it all, you're
You
going
know-
to fall off that bus so
No.
quick.
If you think you know it all, you know nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the quickest indicator if you know nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that is something that, and maybe that's a good starting point, because this is really something that I wanted to talk about. You know, in the old days, in the day, you could learn something, and really even in my experience in the job, I plied the same trade, you know, for almost 20 years when I got in the industry. Really, what did we have? We had tungsten, we had HMIs, we had Kino flows. You know, these things were pretty stalwart, you know what I
Sure.
mean? I went out and bought certain pieces of equipment. I had a business model that's, and to a certain degree, that the most of that model is still in place.
Sure,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? However, 5 years ago, things really took a turn. You know what I mean? Now LEDs were on the market, but LEDs not just as a peripheral.
Right.
Now they were a main event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you had to financially commit to that. You had to financially go out, learn
Right.
all those new techniques, learn that new sky panel. You know what I mean? Now learning the new orbiter, which is
Yes.
coming out.
Coming
you know,
out.
and a plethora of other LED devices, you know, that are out there, and wireless technology,
Sure.
which is so huge in the camera world.
Huge.
You know,
Huge.
you cannot afford to not be learning. I don't mean that you can just learn something and then do it. I think you need to commit daily to 1 or 2 hours of learning something new,
Yes.
you know, and
Good practice.
it's a good practice,
practice.
because, look, there's a couple levels this goes on. You know, number one, yes, you're learning for your own employment.
Yes.
You're learning to be abreast of what's coming up in the marketplace. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I'll tell you, you've got to do it because other people are doing it. And just if you're not doing it, you're with the other 90% who think they can slide, you know what I mean, or stay the same, and they're not going to be there. They're going to get further and further behind. If you make a commitment to learning, if you can make a commitment to something new, then you're going to be in demand. And that's just as simple. That's just simple.
Yeah, the question I have for you, Bernie, is, you know, all our old tungsten gear,
Right.
do we sell or trade up? Do we buy the latest, greatest and forget about that old technology? Or do you keep that stuff around? That's the age-old question.
First of all, that's an old man's problem.
Right, of course.
Because no kid is buying tungsten out there. That's an old man's problem.
That's true.
Right? You know?
That's true.
But let me tell you with it, tungsten is a tool.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, if you have, how would I, say like if you have a battery operated drill,
Right.
right? Or you have the old kind that you put on there and you turn
hand
around
crank.
like this, you know,
Yes.
with the hand crank. You can keep the hand crank.
Sure.
I mean, you know, if you're out of power or the
Right,
battery's
there you
dead
go. There
or
you
whatever, that's one thing that you can do. But when you got the power that goes one way or the other way in reverse, it can do
Yes,
you
it has
know
a
what I
little
mean?
light on it.
That is the tool that you've got to have in your
Tool of
tool
preference,
belt.
sure.
That's it. Now, the other one looks great on the wall. It's funky, it's cool, it's got all the style. But, you know, you don't need the tungsten.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it can't do enough for you. Now, maybe you could modify that, but I've seen modifications of LED, tungsten LED, and that. However, I don't really know what that buys you.
Yeah. That's always the trick of the trade.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you lose something too. But believe me, I'm not saying that you don't lose something. That tungsten light, and I just did a special on. We have, by the way, on Wednesdays at 2:30 now we have On-Set Live.
Yes.
And I did a review of a beauty skin product that I did that I lit mostly with tungsten.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, tungsten's viable.
There is still a place.
There's a place for it. However, it's a narrow space now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
It's
know,
narrowing.
It's
yeah.
narrowing, yeah. And pretty soon, it just won't be on the market.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'll be a specialty item.
And the other thing is you just can't sweep technology back.
No.
You got to sweep it in.
Oh, no,
Kinda
very
deal.
good
Right?
point. Boy,
I mean,
remember that
you
one.
know.
Give me that nugget again. There's a nugget. Anybody writes
Ooh,
nugget on there,
ooh.
you know, we're going to have a drawing for a book here, you know. There's a nugget right there. You get my book.
That's right.
No one talks about lighting the elephant in the room.
That's right.
And but there's a, you know, you got to bring it in,
Gotta
Gary.
bring it
That
in.
is so true. You know, don't keep bringing the old in. You know, sweep the old back, but bring in that new technology.
Absolutely.
Adopt. You know what I mean?
Adopt.
And if you're really smart, you're an early adopter.
Right.
And I'm not saying either that you have to live and die by adoption, or you
Sure.
have to, you know, take everything in, but know where you're at.
So, and it's not a bad idea to maybe go to Sammy's Camera or Modern or, you know.
It's a great idea,
and
dude.
walk around, see what
It's
you don't
a
have to
great
buy
idea. No.
that day. Just get a sense for what's out there.
You know, I'll tell you what, so many people miss a couple things. Now, I think, you know, adoption by younger people, that's kind of a given. Look, we
Sure.
adopted when we were young, all those years ago. We adopted the new thing, right? We wanted the latest, the greatest. And I think that's still what's going on. You know what I mean? I would say that everybody should be utilizing those vendors who are out there, the manufacturers,
Yes.
the salespeople, and taking as much online information as they can right now to just familiarize themselves. You know, we put it on set lighting, we put out a 1-minute videos, Nick and I do, of these little lighting things. They're just 1 minute. I mean, they're not a sales video, it's not in depth, you know what I mean? But you get an idea of what the thing does, what it costs, and what it's made for.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
it's that simple. Now, you want to delve in and go deeper, there's still plenty of stuff to look at. But there's a perfect example. And I wouldn't even say doing this like, oh, you know, you got to, you know, throw everything away and now you're studying.
Right.
What interests you?
Yeah.
Follow your interests, you know?
Exactly. And speaking of which, you know, the one we were talking earlier this week about topics of the show and college route or get your hands wet and dirty as fast as you can. What's the deal, Burn?
Well,
I mean, you know, we know where you know, you and I have different paths. You jumped
yeah,
right in.
yeah.
I had a little college
You had
behind
some
me.
college, yes,
So
yeah,
what
yeah.
went right or wrong? Who knows?
Right,
You know,
right.
for either one of us.
You know what? Honestly, let me tell you this. You know what I mean? I honestly think that's less of a choice than what is your individual motivation. I really think. I don't think college makes it easier. Now, you can say one thing, that having a degree puts you into a certain class category. You know what I mean? I think that in our industry, maybe not as much as other industries.
Right.
In other words, if you went to UCLA Law, you know what I mean? Well, you're going to know other really high-powered guys.
Sure.
And
Get a
all that.
network.
You're going to get a network.
Yeah.
I've seen guys come out of you know, UCLA film school and really not. I mean, I don't want to say not do much because their success. If you're making a living in this business, you're successful. That's a given.
Sure.
You know, but maybe not. You know, they didn't become big producers or anything like that. You know, and do it. So I think it's a motivation type thing more than anything else. But what I will say is you don't have to go to college to break the glass ceilings in this business.
And a good thing to think about is that a producer will call around looking for crew, and the guy says, "Yeah, I just got out of 4 years of film college." You have that guy, that grip, and then another grip guy goes, "I've worked in 4 years on this show."
It's a no-brainer.
See,
it's
so
a no-brainer.
there you go.
If that is the deciding way,
deciding factor.
Yeah, and hustle, and I think, you know, I feel like we are in one of the last industries where people really are judged by how good they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not a degree. You're not hiding in a corporate environment. You're out there, and it really is what you're putting on the ground every day.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, there's a reason that I'm at this age right now, and I am still working, and I'm talking about sending jobs out.
Right.
7, 8, 10, even 12 jobs a week. You know what I mean? That are out there. You know,
Sure.
there's a reason for that. And it's not because I can do the jobs, because I really don't go on set anymore.
Right.
You know, it's because I have put myself in that position to talk to the community, to feed back what I do, what I love, and teach.
Right.
You know, those are the reasons that people come to me, because they feel secure
Sure.
about that. And I hire the people, the individuals with the experience, not based on a college degree, but proven product. They show up on time. They deliver every time for the client. You know, it is, you can't judge on that. And I'm still doing it, and almost doing it in my sleep, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely.
Tony, do we have somebody?
We have a question.
Oh, a question.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Question. Our good friend of the show,
Angelique.
Angelique, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for watching today.
Great.
Also, William Primrose is watching today. So.
Awesome. William.
Quick comment from William, though. He does mention that you can upgrade your old Fresnels with
There we go.
LEDs.
Yeah, the LED. Yeah,
So- and they
yeah.
are swappable, so you can use both.
You can use both. Yes,
But
yes.
Angelique would like to know: do you sell off 25% of your old equipment to trade up for new every 2 to 3 years?
Oh, that's
See,
good. That's a good,
that's where I was
good
coming around the
question.
corner with that.
That's a good question. Yes. Well, let me. But you ask if I do. No, but a smart person would.
That'd be me.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You know, I have found myself. That's a very good question. The
Yes,
answer is
absolutely.
yes. You should be always on that march. Actually, you know, you should be buying and trading. Selling.
But be selective.
Very selective
on what you
very
get rid of.
selective. You know, I would say that's true. Here's how I measure a light. This is what I'm looking for in a light. Can I buy that light, and how can I price it? One, that's that because I don't want to spend money on a light that's I've got a price too low in the marketplace. You know what I mean? I'll almost buy that light and give it away.
Yes.
As a package piece before I try to rent it.
Right.
You know, so I want a light that I can make some money off of. The number two is, what demand am I getting? Is there a demand for that light? Am I getting calls for it? Have I had to sub-rent it more than 3 or 4 times, right, before I do that? And how often
Sure.
do I have to sub-rent it? So that is also longevity, because now I think it's really important. You know, as of late, you have, say, a manufacturer that puts out one version of their light. And every guy's had this happen. 2.5, 3 years later, they're putting out the upgraded version.
Yes.
Now the marketplace wants the upgraded version,
Always.
and you just paid off the last one that you had, but now the demand's been cut
Right.
for it.
That
So-
happens quite a bit.
Quite a bit, actually. You know, and that didn't used to happen at all.
Oh, no.
You know, that cameras it did, of course, but,
Yeah.
but you know, not in the lighting world. So I am looking at longevity, at least the ability to be able to upgrade a light now, because
Right.
that's a possibility. And I'm looking at almost a 10-year payoff. That doesn't mean that the light, I won't have to repair it at some point in that 10 years, or you know, but it's going to have a shelf life and be in demand as a fixture for 10 years. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, in that. But yes, you do need to sell off
Right.
old
And,
stock.
and everything, you know, all equipment that you buy is in a formula.
Yes.
So X amount of rentals, X amount of days.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and then once you see you've paid it off and there's that profit and now it's sinking, you want to catch it before
Time
it
to
sinks,
jettison.
sinks to the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yes, yes. And you know what? That is a good voice. Let's talk about that formula, because I mean, I like, I live it so long. I live it so often. You know, and I was talking to somebody, I don't want to mention his name just because I probably don't have permission to talk of what I'm going to say here, but a very well-known rental guy in Hollywood. You know, we were sitting there. You know, my thing is this is how I look at a light or a piece of equipment that's out there. First of all, I go to AC/DC, Cine Gear. I go to all the big rental houses. What are they renting it for?
Exactly.
Right? Now, I know they are going to have a falsely high price on that rental because everybody who comes through the door is going to get a discount.
Of course.
Okay? So I look there. There's my baseline. That's my high-end top baseline, right? Then I look at the cost of the light, right? And I am looking at charging 5%. I won't go into variation,
Right.
but 5% of that overall cost as a regular rental price.
Yes.
Now that's usually lower than what the top price that the other people are doing, but they've already compensated for the discount they're going to give.
Of course.
So I will look at that and I will say, okay, I can give this. If I go ahead and rent this light, you know what I mean, twice a month, I'm going to pay it off in 10 months to a year. Okay? That's acceptable to me.
Yes.
That's acceptable to me. Because if I've bought the light right, you know what I mean, it's still got, even if a new one comes out, a new version, right? It comes out, I've still paid the light off and made 100 or 200% on it.
Sure,
you
absolutely.
Know? So I look at it that way. Now, if I buy let me give an example, a light that I don't own. Okay, this is because this is how my head's thinking. 360 sky panel.
Right.
Okay, so first of all, I have gotten some calls for a 360 sky panel. Now, it's not enough to justify going out and buying the light, right? But I do know one thing. If I had a 360 sky panel and had two of them, I would create a demand for it.
Right.
Because now people would know I had it, they'd be more likely to use it, and also I can sell that to my clients.
Sure.
You know, because there's enough, that has enough market penetration. People know what it is and what it can do and all that. You know, so I would look at that and say, maybe I'll buy two of those even though I don't have this, because that's the one I know is going to be a 10-year light. That's easy, maybe even more, you know.
Sure.
And I can make good money off that light.
Right.
So that's how I sort of approach that whole thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's worked for me. And just talking to this other gentleman that I was up visiting, I mean, he's made a fortune on that.
Wow.
On that formula. So, yeah, that's the way to do it. But now, Gary, because you're a camera guy, and I got you here, and I got you live here. Now.
In the flesh.
Well, one thing I think, and this is, let me just say, this is a little bit going off the deep end.
Sure.
But you know what, one thing, and this is, I have no experience as a camera guy, so let me just say that. You know what I mean? I'm a gaffer, I'm not a DP.
Sure.
I've owned a couple cameras. I own the ones that you're watching on right now. But I've never been a rental guy. Now, you're a rental guy, so let me lay this on you, because I've talked to you about this before. I think camera guys make the biggest mistake in the marketplace by doing the package price.
Yeah.
And almost every single guy I know does a package price.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I get why that happens too. I get it. There's so many component parts of that package. The first thing you're afraid of is, God, if I go every line item, I'm gonna blow them out of the water.
Yes,
I'm gonna freak them out.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna, you know, they're gonna be terrified when they open that invoice.
Absolutely.
But here is the mistake that most guys make. They never get the credit for the full value that they're giving the client. Okay? They never get that credit, and here's how it happens. If you go through, and I mean you list, you know, you could say cables and put that under a heading,
Sure.
right? But put a dollar sign on it. Cables, $25.
Right.
You know what I mean? Batteries, 6 at. You know
Right.
what I mean?
X amount.
Whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Camera body, lenses, everything. You list it out. You give it full retail price. Full retail price. Okay? Now, and I know, and most guys are going, oh, my client. The first thing that every guy that is out there hearing me say that right now is thinking, my client would never pay that.
Right, of course.
It's exactly what you're saying. Well, your client doesn't have to pay it. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you've found a good living place for your package, you know what I mean, and you're making that off it, then show them with a 40% discount.
Sure.
If that's the case.
Right.
But wherever you have to be at. But this does two things for you in the very end. Number one, your client has no idea of the value you're bringing them to set every time. They have
Right.
no idea how much value you are bringing and giving it. This way they know. Also, people have a tendency to think, oh, well, my camera guy does this. I like him, but yeah, we can get another guy, or I can just switch over. I can do a lateral. Well, no, because he doesn't know what you're giving. If your client has a list and says, and can say to somebody else, you're bringing all of this for this price, first of all, they're going to flip.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if they're missing some pieces out of what you're giving them as value, and they say, well, I can't get this and this, he's going to go back to you. He's going to be even more loyal to you. And they're going to understand what kind of deal you're giving them. So maybe if I'm saying this, I'd say evolve into that.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Evolve into that. But that's where most camera guys miss it because the client never knows the value.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the whole thing comes about is that when you have a camera package, usually the first items that get paid for are the less expensive items, if you look at the whole picture, right?
Sure.
So your batteries are paid off, your monitor's paid off, your tripod's paid
Right.
off. So all that's paid off. So all that's in the winning pile. The only thing that gets changed out is basically the camera head, because most of the time you can replace the camera head
and your lenses
will still work. So the mentality is that you want that client to pay off that head as soon as possible. So that's number one. So that's the formula you're seeing. And then the other part that, by listing everything, it's okay, piecemealing it. But sometimes maybe the client says, hey, can I save $100 if you don't bring your tripod? Oh, wait a second. I'm going to shoot all day handheld. Well, yeah, the shot's handheld. I don't need your tripod. So I think the reason why maybe that we don't do this, we don't do the listing, we're afraid the producer's going to start picking stuff out. Hey, instead of 5 batteries, why don't you just bring 3 batteries? Because they don't understand.
Well, you're talking to a riddle guy. I got 300 items on my truck. Yeah,
exactly.
they're listed, and they're listed too.
They're
Yeah,
listed.
so I understand what you're saying.
I think maybe that's the dividing line. Is
Gotcha.
that you don't want the producer to start picking at it.
Here's how you handle that. You say, no.
Of
Those
course.
are all standard
Items.
because I cannot guarantee results without the package complete. And that's what I say. When somebody says like, oh, can we, do I have to pay for the speed rail?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I go, I'm not taking it off the truck and I can't give you a discount. This discount is based on everything coming together.
Right.
See, you do that. So
Of
you
course.
take and reverse them. So in other words, you take the tripod out, the discount goes down.
Right, exactly. That's
the deal.
That's
That's
the
the
way to
deal.
fight
And
it.
people understand that. People
It's
will
interesting.
understand that.
when you rent from a rental house, they do exactly, a big rental house.
Right.
They do exactly what you're asking for is, pricing it out.
Yeah.
But individual camera guys, it's a little different.
That's why they're a big camera house.
Exactly.
But it's true, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the thing that I try to think. Look,
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got to be an individual. I'm an individual.
Sure.
Too. You have. Here's the thing. You're already giving your clients super service.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're giving them super service by what you're already doing. You know,
Makes sense, yeah.
It's they're getting a premium already. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to cut back. That's worth more money.
Absolutely.
That's worth more money to give that individual. The camera house doesn't give that. They got a list of prices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll put the discount on it.
Sure.
They want volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you can, but that's the way you can sweetheart your client.
Yes,
And
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I agree. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Tony.
Tony,
Hey,
gosh,
Tony in the house.
God, I've left Tony out of the loop.
There we go.
Oh, Tony, there
Thank
you are.
goodness.
There you are. Hey, be nice to Tony too, because I'll tell you this: he's going to decide the winner on our two categories for winning the 2 books.
If you're watching right now,
I mean, not yesterday.
or
but
yesterday,
right now.
yeah, or tomorrow,
Or tomorrow.
if you learn something from this show, if you get anything, if you glean some of this magnificent information, put it in the comments, #nugget, add that on, and we're going to pick somebody to win one of Burnie's books.
That's
Yes.
right.
We're gonna
That's
give away one
right.
of Burnie's
That's
books.
right.
Yes.
Also, if you've done anything in the last few years that has evolved you, your business, your presence on social media, anything that's helped you evolve in business, leave it in the comments. We want to see it, and we're going to pick something from that as well. So we want to hear from you. We love talking with you. If you have questions, hit us up. We love to answer questions on the air.
Awesome, Tony. Awesome. I think Tony just might have built himself up to a new job title. Announcer.
Announcer. Yeah, I love that. I love
Announcer.
that.
Yes. Absolutely.
ovation.
Well done. Well done. No, thank you. Tony took the words out of my mouth. Here it is. Here's the big prize. Here's the big prize right here.
Yeah, I want.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
I
Yeah,
want
that's
it.
it.
I want it.
That's it.
Yeah. Woo.
So, you know what, too? By the way, I just want to say this. The title of this book is "No One Talks About Lighting the Elephant in the Room." That was an actual phone call because I lit this elephant, who is a celebrity elephant, by the way. This
Yes.
is Cindy.
Yes.
No, not Cindy. It's Ty.
Ty,
Yeah,
okay.
Ty, the elephant Ty, who's been over. It was in Operation Dumbo. She just about in every commercial that you see an elephant in. That's the elephant.
I wonder if that elephant is an LLC or
No.
because I know
The
the
owner
Seneca-
is, I'll tell you that.
He better be. Holy crud.
Yeah, and that's a company that owns Cindy and many other elephants too, by the way, called Have Trunk Will Travel.
Ah, that's a great name.
yeah,
Great name.
But I was going in. We had to light. We were out of Palm Springs, out of Ford Studios. They wanted the elephant lit on a white site for a bank commercial. Clients were coming out from Ohio, and so I called up Kelly Porterfield and I said, "Kelly, I gotta light an elephant," and he goes, "Bernie, nobody talks about lighting an elephant in the room."
That's
so I
great.
just like there it was. That was it.
That's-
This is on my Facebook picture, and that was my theme or motto for years and years and years. So
Great. Hey,
Yeah.
how much time we got left, Tony? Because I got a AB5 it.
oh yeah,
We're
Yeah.
35 in.
yeah. You know what? Before you do that though, Tony, let's go over those statistics.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's go over those statistics because I'll tell you what, I gleaned, there was a report done 2020. All these numbers are from 2018.
Okay.
Okay, but it gives a good snapshot just how huge the creative community is in Southern California and all over California, but Southern California, and it's mind-boggling. And I'll tell you, AB5 really puts a lot of these jobs and money in jeopardy. And I'm just going to say something else. March 3rd, you have a chance to vote for every single assembly person in the state assembly who passed this law, and find out if your assembly person supported it.
Yeah.
And if they do, I ask you, please vote for the opposition and make it clear there's a repeal bill
Yes.
in the House right now. Tony, I think he's got something for me.
I was going to say, if you're on Facebook, which I hope you are because you're watching the show right now, there is an excellent group called Freelancers Against AB5. Freelancers Against AB5. They have some fantastic resources. All the state, they have resources of all the assembly people, all the senates,
Yes.
who voted for it, who didn't vote for it. So I would suggest go there, join that group. They are a fantastic bunch, and you can find just about anything you need to know about what's happening with AB5.
Yeah, it is really jeopardizing maybe millions, but certainly hundreds of thousands of people's
Absolutely.
livelihood.
Yeah, I just got a desperate call from a good friend of mine I've known for years and years, begging me to get onto my payroll because I'm incorporated.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not sure about that, you know. So I said I have to contact my CPA. But the company he's been doing work for the past 30 years gave him 1 week
Wow.
to ship up or shape out or ship out.
So
you know?
they were saying either you've got to become a legal
Yes.
corporate entity
Yes.
or we can't hire you
can't hire
anymore
you.
after 30 years of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
The same company doing a great job for them.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible. And you know what? This was just sprung on everybody. There was no training. There was no grace period. There was
Zero.
no money put for education.
That's
but
the
20
key.
million for enforcement.
Right.
You know, that sucks.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate to say it, but it was a Democratic bill. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's not caring about
That
people.
doesn't seem very democratic to me.
It does not. No, it doesn't. So you know what? I want Tony to go through these statistics,
Yes.
and then let's get on to that too.
There we go.
Okay, what do we got here, Tony? Now we got. I see the green. What's in the green column? What is that?
Key findings for California as far as the economy, the output for, somebody's texting me. Yeah, key output, jobs created, and labor income. So yeah, the total creative output in California is $650 billion.
And that's dollars generated by the
dollars, yeah.
creative community,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jobs generated being 2.6 million, and then labor income at 209 billion. So
Yeah,
Wow.
and it says 2.7. Am I wrong on that?
2.7 million
million
generated, yes.
jobs in California. Okay. Now that's not all freelancers.
No,
but that's it. And what was that? What was that last one, Tony? What was the last? Yeah.
labor income.
Labor income 209 billion.
That's
the
both
B.
direct and indirect.
Yeah, direct and indirect. Right. That's like, for example, the creative community and the craft services out there feeding them that day.
Right.
You know, yeah. So,
Right.
you know, there's a very, very good example right there. And you know what? In the creative community, let's just talk about film acts. How soon before somebody decides, well, we got to go out to California, or can we get that shot in Texas
Right,
on
Arizona,
the coast?
yeah, Nevada.
Corpus Christi.
Sure.
It's a beach is a beach, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, or where do we take the show? Well, you know, Atlanta's going to be a better choice, or Louisiana, or
Sure.
New Mexico. You know what I mean? All that stuff is going to make a huge difference for us, folks. It's going to
Yeah,
make a huge
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
You know,
Because everybody around me that is not incorporated,
yeah.
they're all getting the telltale signs. Everybody's
Oh.
getting emails saying,
Oh.
hey, listen, we'd love to hire you, but you got to show us
But-
that you're in motion.
We have to
You
have,
got
yes,
forward.
we have to have some. I'm going through the same thing. There's people that I've hired that need to do that. What else we got here, Tony?
All right, so this is just figures for LA.
Okay.
So LA alone at 203 billion as a total creative output, and then income at 67 billion. So I mean that's just LA alone.
Well, let me see that. So the 203 billion is what? That's just
Creative
LA.
economy output, yeah.
Okay. Look at that, dude.
It's a lot of
$203.2 billion in the LA, the LA basin, and that's, you know, I don't. I think that's Inland Empire. I think that's Orange County, and maybe even be San Diego too. I don't know, but that's huge money.
That's big
That's
money.
big money.
to
That's
be-
just the creative community. You take that out of there. You put a 25% dent in that. That's
It's
huge.
going to cost everybody down the line.
It's
guaranteed.
huge.
Guaranteed.
It's huge, yeah.
So, what to do? What to
Well,
do?
you know what? You got to vote, and you got to get a hold of your assembly person and let them know that they are not supporting your income, your livelihood. You've got to vote against them. You know what I mean? I mean, you may have to turn into a one issue person, because when the one issue is your livelihood, then that's front and center.
And one thing I have always learned is that if we stay quiet about this,
Oh,
then
they'll roll
here's-
over you.
If you don't say anything,
Yeah.
they think it's okay. They think they did the
Yes,
right thing.
yes.
That's the biggest
Yes,
issue.
yes. You got to make a stink.
You gotta make
I
a
know my assembly person, Cotty is her first name. I wrote her an email.
No, any response?
Monday, crickets. Here it's Friday. Not a word back from anybody at the office. Nothing. So I'm voting against her. I've got my ballots at home. I'm voting against her.
Wow, wow, yeah.
So that's it. And she hasn't heard the last from me. I can
Oh,
assure
wow,
you
of course.
of that.
Of
You
course.
know what I mean?
Of course.
So what else do we have here, Tony?
Question.
Oh yes,
Woohoo!
yeah. Question.
Yes.
Now, bear in mind, we are not lawyers.
Yes.
Yes.
If you are
Yes.
somebody who does this kind of work or is in business, definitely seek out the advice of an employment attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
Please seek out
Tony
legal
just
advice.
nailed the announcer job right there.
Yeah.
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 Roger Roth would like to know, if you don't have employees and only have used independent contractors, do you have to hire people as employees, or can you still hire as independent contractors? Which is the $25 million question.
Yeah, if they are, I would, to my understanding, if they are a legal entity and you can hire them business to business,
B2B.
that's the difference, Or, and I'm not even sure on this, you probably have to put them through payroll,
Right.
but put them through a payroll company and system, and then pay them that way.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be, but then they're individuals and they're considered your employee. So,
You wanna watch
there's
that.
liability
There's
with
liability with that.
that. So I think, they have to either be one, a legal entity,
So
or
once
an employee.
once you put a somebody on your payroll, and then it's 3 or 4 days of work, and of course that project's over with, and you have no more work for them, do they collect unemployment on you?
Well,
how does that work?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
There's another question,
That's a very
right,
good
Tony?
question. And I think a lot of guys haven't built up any unemployment in our.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. I don't know what they can do. I don't know exactly how those enrollments. I know that you have to work a certain amount of hours, I believe, before you qualify for unemployment.
Yes.
But I don't know what those time periods are or
Right.
anything like that.
So passing AB 5, what was their intent in the beginning of all this? What did they see happening?
You know what? It was supposedly due to a Supreme Court case in the state of California, and I can't remember. Do you remember what the
Dynamics.
Dynamics,
Dynamics
yes.
case,
Yeah. So hiring an individual, somehow they were under the impression they were employees and they were, being paid all this stuff. So the court said, clean it up. Now, and a lady named Loretta Sanchez was in it.
No.
No? Okay, Tony, you're better.
Loretta Gonzalez.
Loretta
Oh,
Gonzalez.
I'm sorry,
yes.
Loretta Gonzalez. Excuse me. She was a union organizer. I know that she has received in the last year, I believe it was, $450,000 from the union, different organizers
Sure.
or whatever, you know what I mean? And part of this bill was to put at the behest of the unions to organize people that were unorganized and doing freelance work, So I think
Okay.
it was to dampen that down. and get them under an entity. But you know, there's something that I think was just so missed in this. Number one, we have been in the best economy that we've ever had for the last 10 years. I don't ever remember a stretch like this in my whole life. You know what I mean? We are down to 3.5 unemployment right now. Yes, a lot of people could get hired right now, and it's very likely that there's that money to hire them. What happens when the market goes down? All those people get laid off, and now you're not allowed to use your own skills to go out and make a living, you know, as a freelancer, you know. Also, another thing, look, as much as we may want a job, as much as we may have the ability and the intelligence to do a lot of different things, there ain't a company in the world that's going to hire us.
No.
Not close. Not close.
Not even.
We're too old.
You know,
they're going to look at us and go, why do I want to hire those guys? I'll hire a 25-year-old. I'll keep them around at 10 years. You know what I mean? We'll teach them their way. Those old goats, you know, we don't want them in here.
We don't want them.
Yeah.
Well, the deal is, Bernie, the system's been working perfect since day one of Freelanceville, right? Okay. Now, there's always going to be issues here and there. But that 1% issue that people brought up,
thank you, Gary. Yes.
Now it's going to affect 99% of us. Why change?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
That's what blows me away about this whole deal.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's just crazy. I don't know where this is going to go. I know that we're in for a lot more pain, though, before it gets better. You know, right now the governorship, the Senate, and the Assembly are all dominated by one party, the Democrats.
Right.
This is a Democratic bill, so they've locked arms and they're putting a defense in it. You know, it's funny. Gavin Newsom, just our governor, just was talking about in the State of the State thing about homelessness.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
What does he think that this would do to homelessness when you directly take people's livelihoods away from them? Yeah. And you know, it's funny, you know, you can think of it and go, well, it's just the movie guys. No, it's not.
No.
It's musicians, it's translators, it's court transcripts, it's hair and makeup, it's the people who put on your wedding. You know what I mean?
I'd like to know the percentages of gig workers versus 8 to 5 people. That'd be an interesting percentage to know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
And I'm talking about Southern California.
Yeah, against which are regular employees and which ones
because that 25% could become homeless really quickly.
Oh no, very quickly, dude, very quickly. And suppose you don't have the ability now to go out and get an Uber job or Grubhub. You know, most people aren't doing those jobs because they want to. They're doing those jobs because they have to.
They have to take on that second or third job.
That's right. They've got, or they just like, this is my last chance. I need a 2-week window where I can make some money, you know, and do that. But let me just say something else too, you know, and this comes from being a business owner. I mean, I've been incorporated, I think, you know, 15 years probably, you know, in that ballpark. And I was an employee for the first, until I was 40. Okay, I was an employee. And then I went to freelance. Then I incorporated my business again after I learned my skills, did my thing. The one thing I think people who are employees don't understand, you know what I mean, is you have so much more of a safety net when you're a freelancer. You know, think about it. Right now, you are employed by a company and you have 100% of your eggs in one basket.
Right.
A bad economy, a change in equipment, another marketplace disruption, anything, and they will throw you off in a minute and not think twice about it. Okay? It's business. That's hard. You think you're safe and you got a good salary and you got all that, you got nothing.
I got nothing.
You know, when I'm out there as a freelancer, I've got a client over here, I've got a client over there. This guy gives me 15% of my work. This guy gives me 8% of my work. This guy gives me 10% of work. This guy is 1 and 2, 3%, which maybe is a lot of them, but I've got a lot of volume. I can always get rid of one and come back with a higher payer.
Yes.
Two, a lot of people don't understand. I really believe our education system, and now I'm, don't get me started, Gary. Do not do it. Do not do it.
Reel them back.
Yeah, but, our education system only has a commitment, in my mind, to do two things. Turn you into a consuming employee. They want you to have the job that's going to keep you just at a level,
Right.
and then maximize your consumerism to get the car, the house, the 2 kids, the family. And let me tell you, you're stuck there.
Yeah.
I know so many people that are stuck there. And right now, you want the facts? You want the facts? It takes $86,000 a year in Orange County and Los Angeles to have a 1-bedroom apartment, okay, and have 2 weeks off a year, do some savings, okay? That's what the standard is for the 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
That's a single person. That's not a couple, okay? That's it. You know what that means? You have to work 149 days a year at $600 a day to make that money.
And you do that.
That's 12 jobs a month.
Yes.
Okay? Anything that comes in and disrupts that, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
You're done. Absolutely.
So people, this is real stuff. And that's why I say you evolve or you die.
Yeah.
You evolve or you die. You make yourself valuable. You make yourself an entity that they can't touch. You weave and bob and find the course, the path of least resistance to get where you've got to go for what's good for you.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just going to say something here too. I was a Teamster, okay, for 8 years, back up in Tacoma, Washington. I was on the negotiating committee. In fact, I negotiated the biggest pay raise the Teamsters have ever had in one sit down, okay, while I was there on the negotiating committee as a Teamster. Okay, I know the unions very well, and the unions do a lot of good.
Yes.
The unions, I would not want to live in a world without the unions.
Because they set the bar.
They set the bar, and they put a set of standards down where everybody's all over the place. But they're not perfect either. No. Okay, and I think they really got to stop and look and think about what this does to everybody. Because I'll tell you something, and I think I know I'm telling the truth here, is the unions don't want everybody in it. That's why they don't waive the enrollment fee.
Right.
That's why they don't just open their doors and say, come sign up for the union.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Because they have to have a certain quality of people in there, in that union, to keep the standards high.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The unions will do what the unions need to do to keep the, but they don't have everybody's self-interest in mind.
Exactly.
Okay. And I would like to remind a lot of people how they got into the union. And they did that by working as freelance, non-union, learned their set of skills, then got themselves into a position where they could do so many union hours.
Sure.
And then were invited to join in the union and pay the fee.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Freelance creates an environment to keep the unions up to a high standard. You know?
And also it also comes up, it raises the creativity bar also. If we all worked for the union, there'd only be about 10% creativity.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because
yes.
once you become union and you're a camera guy,
you can just sit there if you want to.
Sit there and focus, pan and tilt, and you're done. But where's your ideas coming from?
Yeah. And where's the outside influences?
That's the key.
The outside influences. So this is, I know this was made for the unions, but I think this bill is just as bad for the unions as anything else. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'll just state it again. I support the unions.
Yeah, absolutely,
You know.
absolutely,
But I don't think this bill is good for the unions, even though it might be in the guise of that.
Right. Yes. Yes. So, what are we doing with the book, Burn? Any?
Oh, the
anybody?
book. Well, let's hear it. You know, anybody get any nuggets out of this thing? Anybody have anything that they liked or heard or thought was good? Or how have you evolved? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? How have you
I
evolved?
wanna know.
Has anybody put anything on the evolved? Maybe we've evolved past that evolving.
The evolving point.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? This comes down to another thing, Gary, and let me just tell you, let me get back, and this is really talking about the freelancers, you know what I mean? What you have to do these days, you know, is you have to get out there and you have to be a self-producer. You have to get out there and you've got to let people know who you are and what you do. And be a leader in that field. You know, if you're out there gaffing or in camera, you've got to be learning every day. That what we talked about. You've got to be evolving and learning every day. You've got to set time aside for it. You've got to enjoy it. You've got to love it. But another just important thing is you've got to put that back out there and teach with it. You know what I
Right.
mean? You've got to let people know. And that way you become a self-producer. You've got to, on your social media, you've got to put the things out that you're interested in.
Sure.
You've got to challenge your group, your industry, your field to think about and adopt new ways of working.
Right.
You know what I mean? And new ideas and having new ability to bring others in and turn it on. Believe me, I've been doing this long enough with social media because that's what I have done for myself. I'm a self-producer. I produce enough content. You know, I remember when I started out on social media, and it was 10 years ago.
Right.
It was Facebook.
Sure.
Most people said, God, Bernie, what kind of social media freak is that guy?
Exactly.
But I knew one thing. I love production.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about production. And I had 2,000 production pictures
Wow.
that I had taken on set. And I wanted to post one every day. And from that, I evolved into leadership. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And looking at new things and pushing new ideas and doing that. That's what you have to do too.
Yeah.
You have to be a leader. You have to evolve to that self-producer. And you have to challenge your industry as well.
Absolutely.
1 minute left, guys.
What? 1 minute?
No way. No
God,
way.
I was just
Push
getting warmed
back
up.
the hands of
I was just
time.
getting warmed up, Gary. God. All right. Well, listen. Who do we have? We have anybody?
Well,
Talk
I'll
to
tell
me.
you, we have. I'll tell you, Roger Roth, Mr. Roth. You've been very active on the show today, and apparently he's gleaned us a number of things. So
Great.
be on the lookout. We'll get in contact with you, and we'll send you one of those books.
Awesome, Roger.
Standing
Roger.
ovation.
Excellent.
Standing O.
Excellent.
Standing O.
Okay. Any other candidates out there?
No,
All right. All right. Roger Roth. He walks
Roger
away
Roth,
with a
he
prize.
walks- he gets that
He
book.
walks-
Shout out to Austin Sabato for catching the
Austin
show today.
Sabato. Austin,
yeah,
I love you,
Austin.
Austin. I
Crushing
love
it.
you. I love you, Austin. Thank you, buddy.
that's
Now
right.
there's a guy. You want to? I'm giving Austin a minute here. Austin Sabato is a young guy who came in, and I'm telling you, is killing it on social media.
Absolutely.
He is out there posting everything he does. He's teaching, he's learning, he's challenging,
Yes.
and he's a fantastic DP and
Absolutely.
pushing the envelope of the. Shout out to you, Austin. You're doing an
very
awesome,
cool.
awesome job.
Very cool.
Austin, awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome, Austin.
Yeah, double A, NCO.
All right, buddy. That's great. We'll see you next week, Bernie's
next week.
Applebox. Oh, and check out 2:30 on On-Set Lighting. We go live every Wednesday. 2:30 Wednesday on On-Set Lighting. We go live every Wednesday. All right. We'll
Be
see you
safe.
then. Bye-bye.
Cut. That's a wrap.